Hello everyone, this is Ricky from Data Mastery, and in today's video we are going to talk about how to set up the Jupyter Notebook in SageMaker Studio. If you are new to machine learning or just getting started with AWS, this is the perfect place to begin with. Let's jump right in. First thing that you need to do is to log into your AWS account and then look for AWS SageMaker platform. Recently, AWS has made a lot of changes in SageMaker. So previously it was used to call SageMaker Studio, but now you can look for Amazon SageMaker Platform Service. And within that, you have something called Unified Studio, which I already made a video about. So you can look into our YouTube channel and search for that video. That explains how you can set up Unified Studio and what features Unified Studio has to offer. And the Jupyter Notebook that we are going to create today, that is also part of Unified Studio. This is used to call SageMaker Studio domain, but now it's called Unified Studio domain. If you don't have a Unified Studio domain, then the first thing you need to do is to create one. And you can click on Create a Unified Studio domain. Now, there are two options as I explained in my previous video. The quick setup, which is recommended just for exploration or POCs, and then the manual setup, which is more kind of detailed setup. That is something that you should be doing if you deploy your workloads in prod or dev environments. In order to set up the studio, we need to create a VPC. Now, this is not kind of necessary, but this is recommended. But for this video, we won't be creating a VPC because we really don't need to set up anything in the private subnets or something like that. But it is recommended to set up the new VPCs because there are some features which are only available if you set up VPC and then deploy a studio inside VPC. And if you are working in prod or setting up the real environment, then it's definitely recommended to set up VPC because all of your traffic will stay within your internal network. That adds more security. But just for this video, we are going to proceed without creating a VPC. So I'm just gonna keep this default option, which is quick setup, and then click on continue. And here you can provide the domain name. Let's call it notebook POC domain, or just notebook POC, whatever you want to name your domain. It needs a domain execution role and domain service role. These roles are required to make API calls on your behalf. For example, creating the domain and setting up all the required configurations. That is something will be done as part of this setup, but this service role will be assumed by the service to make all the changes on your behalf. So if you don't have a role, then you can create one and select from the roles. If you already have one, then you can just keep that as is. For data encryption, you can either provide your own customer managed key, or you can use the default AWS provided key. And here you can see that it also requires a couple of additional roles for data analytics, machine learning, and SQL analytics resources. Because when you work with like data analytics, machine learning, so you'll be working with other AWS services like AWS Glue, EMR, SageMaker, the managed Apache Airflow. So all these services needs to be accessed through this Unified Studio domain. So that's why you need a service role, which will be able to provision all these services based on what kind of profile that you're using or project that you're using. If you want to know more about data analytics, machine learning, and SQL analytics projects or profiles, you can watch my previous video on the Unified Studio domain. Similarly, for managed access role, you can either create a new one or you can just use the existing one. It is going to create S3 bucket for projects where your data related to those projects will be stored. For the VPC, it is required. So this is the default VPC, which I'm just gonna select. So I'm just gonna pick 3 AZs. If you create a custom VPC, then you can select that as well. This is for Gen AI resources, the Bedrock model access. If you have requested for the foundation model access via Amazon Bedrock service, those models will be counted here. So I have 4 approved models as part of my Amazon Bedrock service. And that's it. So you can just keep every other thing as default and just click on continue. And here you have to integrate this with your identity center, because that's the only way you can log into SageMaker Studio or Unified Studio domain. Previously, SageMaker Studio also had the capability to integrate with AWS Identity Center for SSO authentication. And the same thing has been implemented as part of Unified Studio domain as well. Now, this is something required in order to access the SageMaker Unified Studio domain. So what I'm going to do is, I already have my identity center set up in a different account, in a central account. That is the best practice, mostly used by the companies. Like, you have one account which will be your SSO account, and that will be used for your centralized management of your users and groups. And I'm just gonna search for my email ID here, and I'll get my email ID, and I then click on create the domain. It's gonna take a couple of minutes before the domain will be created. Okay, so the domain is created, and you can now log into SageMaker Unified Studio. So you can click on this, open Unified Studio domain link, and then click on sign in with SSO. It takes you to the login page for your AWS SSO. I have already logged in with my SSO account. That's why I have been, straight away redirected to the Unified Studio domain portal. If you are not logged in using SSO, you have to, this will redirect you to the AWS Identity Center or SSO login page. And from there, you can just put in your credentials, and then you can access the Studio domain portal. Now, there are so many things here you can do, Gen AI development, SQL analytics. But what we're going to focus on today is creating a notebook. Now, this is a Jupyter Notebook, which is a pretty standard if you have worked on machine learning workloads previously, how you can create the models and train that and then test the model. So most of these steps are basically performed in the Jupyter Notebooks, like cleansing the data, creating the data frame. So all those things are basically performed in the Jupyter Notebook. So Studio domain provides you a functionality where you can just go and create the notebook. If you click on this drop down, you can see there are some other options as well, like train model with Jumpstart. Jumpstart is kind of a blueprint that SageMaker Studio provides you out of the box. So you can use the Jumpstart to get started and have some, few things configured right away out of the box. And you can also view and deploy the models. So I'm just going to click on create notebook, and I'm going to create a project because I don't have any existing project. So click on create project, and I'm just going to call it notebook POC project. And here you can select which project profile that you want to create this project for. So these project profiles basically integrates with different AWS services. Like if you click data analytics and AI ML model development, which essentially what we're going to select, then you'll be working with EMR, Glue, Athena, SageMaker, and Lakehouse. And this is exactly why we created these IAM roles in the previous step, because the IAM roles that we created earlier, those IAM roles are going to provision all these services required as part of our project. So I'm just going to select this data analytics and AI ML model development project profile and click on continue. It also allows you to connect with AWS Code Commit if your code is in Code Commit, or you can also create connection for GitHub or GitLab as well. Similarly, it is going to create a lakehouse database, which is essentially a glue database. That's where all of your tables and catalogs will be preserved in that particular database. And then it is also going to create Amazon Redshift serverless as part of this project profile. So you can provide the name here. If you don't provide the name, any random name will be selected. So these are the resources which will be provisioned as part of this project, and you can click on continue. This is just a review of the configurations, and then click on create project. This is going to take about 4 to 5 minutes before the project will be ready. So I'm just going to pause the video right here, and I'll resume it once the project will be created. Okay, so the project has been created. As you can see now, the project completion has been done. And if you look at the projects here, you can see that the notebook POC project has been created and the status is active. And then straight away it connected us with the Jupyter Notebook. Now this is how the Jupyter Notebook looks like in the Unified Studio domain. This is provides some additional features as well, like you can connect with your VCS, which is either your GitHub or your code commit repository, and that's where your code is gonna be cloned from or copied over from. And then it also provides the default images as part of this notebook. There are so many default Docker images like this Python 3, which is provided as part of this setup. You can also create your own custom images and put those images in ECR and then attach those images with your Studio domain. In addition to the code that you have in your GitHub repositories or code commit repositories, you can also create a new local file here. And if you just click on this Python 3 notebook icon, and it will create a new notebook, which is going to be based on Python 3 kernel. And you can just run any code that you want. For example, import pandas as PD and then shift enter, and your command will be executed successfully. And then import numpy as np. So Python 3, the base image that we have used, it contains all these libraries. Those are installed by default. But if you need something which is not installed by default, and then you can install it using pip. For example, pip install Boto 3. If you want to install Boto 3 in your working environment, you can just install that using this pip command. But you have to put this exclamation sign at the beginning, or you can also put this percentage sign as well, like this. And then you can click on press shift enter, and it will install the library if it's not installed already. Now, one thing that you need to make sure is that if you're installing the packages like this, then these are ephemeral containers because under the hood, it's running a Docker container. Now, what you need to do is either you create a requirements.txt file here and run that requirements.txt file using pip so that all the libraries will be installed when you spin up this new container, or the best way is to create your custom image. That is the best use case if you're working in an organization and where you have several in-house built libraries that you want to be part of this Docker image. Then it's not recommended to keep those libraries in the requirements.txt file. Then the best way is to just create your own custom image and then attach that with this domain. You can also change the configuration of this Docker container. If you click on configure space, and you can see that this space uses an Amazon EC2 instance for your compute, which is of this type, MLT3.medium, and then you can change that compute type as well. So if you need a little bit bigger instance to support your workload, then you can change the instance type as well. Similarly, you can add more storage to your space. Right now, the minimum is 16 GB, and that is what's selected, but you can select up to 100 GB. In SageMaker Studio, which was the previous version, there was no concept of spaces, but in Unified Studio, they call this IDE as a space. So that's why you see this the link here which says that configure space. The other thing which AWS basically is doing with all the services, and that is the integration of Amazon Q in majority of the services. Even in the AWS console or in the documentation of AWS, you can see Amazon Q, which is kind of embedded in the console. And the same thing that you can see here, you can see this little icon, which is of Amazon Q. If you click on this, and you will see this nice, the chat window with Amazon Q. Like you can start asking questions to Amazon Q right in this console IDE. And that way you can get help on whatever task that you want to perform right in the same window. So if I ask, for example, generate code for simple data, you can say cleansing using pandas. So whatever question you have or whatever the problem that you're trying to solve, you can just ask the question and it is going to generate the response for you. And how it is working, like how it has access to Amazon Q and what kind of Amazon Q tier it has access to, because Amazon Q comes in different flavors like the business and the developer. So you can go to your domain and you can click on your domain, which is this in our case, and you can then go for Amazon Q. So you can see here Amazon Q is integrated, and this is a free tier that I'm using right now. So the same Amazon Q is something that you see here. Well, it's taking a little bit more time than usually it takes, but anyhow, this is what I just want to go over just to explain what kind of features that you can use right in the Studio Domain Notebook. So that's it. You have successfully set up and explored your first Jupyter Notebook in Amazon SageMaker Unified Studio. This is your gateway to building powerful machine learning models. If you find this demonstration helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more AWS content. And let us know in the comments that what other topics that you would like us to cover. See you in the next video. Thanks.